Hey everybody, Lance Bell here, mind of a black moderate conservative. Sorry I'm a little bit quieter than I normally am. The missus is actually not feeling well and is napping right now. But I wanted to talk about this, if you see on the screen here, which is Trump's Platinum Plan. Now, I waited till today because obviously Tuesday's my off day. I wanted to talk about it. But it's one of those ones I'm going to touch on a few things here. And I'll try to keep this video as short as possible. Now, this is his promise to black America over 4 years. Now, he wants to create 3 million jobs for the black community and 500,000 new black owned businesses. Now, these are a little one and the same, and I'll talk about these two first. Now, growing up in the black community, and it all depends on where you live, so keep this in mind. There's already a lot of businesses out there. They're just all okay, let me stop that. Not all, but a lot of them are already under the table. As an example, got Sequika, I can't say it, that has her own business. She does people's hair. You might go to her house, she might come to you, but she will do your hair cash money. And I'm not even something like that. Or Miss Ann. We all every neighborhood has every major city with a large African American population has a Miss Ann. She's the one that cooks every day. That she loves to do. She'll sell you a plate for $5. I'm talking about businesses like that. So it's nothing new. That's why I consider those one and the same. Now the next one is increase access to capital in black communities by almost 500 billion. Now you're talking about the form of loans and grants. Now this comes to motivation by said black community. Now there's a lot in the black community that don't trust banks. It's just what it is. It's always never made any sense to me, but I understand why. I mean, it's a lofty goal. Now, will it be enough? That remains to be seen. I have absolutely no idea if it is or it isn't. So it's one of those ones to where, hey, we'll find out. Now, the next one, he wants to have safe urban neighborhoods with the highest policing standards. Okay, now this one becomes tricky. You have to look at the community near you or the one you're already in. There's some black communities don't want it at all. They want, and they just want to run rapid and the quote unquote let the street figure it out. But there's other communities that wants the violence stopped. I mean, it's a community by community basis. I mean, I think like I live here in Akron, so we all here want safe streets, no matter creed, color, anything like that. So I get what they're saying he's saying as far as that, but it starts with the neighborhood themselves first. Now commit to working on a second step app. Basically what that is getting the people after the first step to the second step, find them stable employment. Now this has always been a pet peeve of me, and I don't care who it is. Let's say you committed a felony. You did your time, was rehabilitated, you're back out. These people deserve a chance. They really, really do. And that comes to the businesses themselves. Now, hear me out on this. There's a lot of businesses that won't hire a felon. Now, there's a lot of reasons why, so I understand why. Understand that part. But what if somebody wants to get back on their feet? They did everything they had to do. They want to make amends of life. There's a lot of businesses out there that will hire them. Don't get me wrong. But they're giving them the lowest wages, the worst jobs, and especially let's say you're a dealer and you go in, you get rehabilitated, come back out, you get a job like that. Well, I'm thinking to myself, well, I can go back to slinging again and make double the money with less hassle and not fear getting fired for something you didn't do. This is society. That's a society issue, and it don't matter where you live, who you are, or what you did. That's a society issue, and that starts with the businesses themselves. Now, the next one, I want nothing to do with. Give black churches the ability to compete for federal resources for the community. I am completely out of giving churches that opportunity because they're going to abuse it, especially in the black church. I know they will. But I'm going to leave it at that because I can go on a complete half an hour tangent on that. And I'm going to try to keep this video underneath 10 minutes if I possibly can. Now, the next one is bring better and tailored healthcare to address historic disparities. Okay, this comes back to the first two. You got to ask, well, the third one, I'm sorry, the third one. This comes down if the community wants it. Because sometimes, a lot of it, I'm just as guilty of this. It's pride. They want no doctor seeing them. They think they're fine until it's too late. It's one of the ones where my girl made me go to the doctor. Not because I didn't want, not because I had to or didn't want to. She made me just to make sure. And it's one of those ones to where better health, and yes, we have heart disease, diabetes, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, wherever we want. We just all need better, well, take better care of ourselves. Now, the next one is kind of a head scratcher for me. Immigration policy that protects American jobs. Now, Mr. Trump, I know you mean well, but I'm going to say this, and excuse my language. Nobody in the black community, I'm talking about the inner city black community, so keep this in mind, gives a damn about immigration policy. Because if they come to our neighborhood, they're right down the dirt with all of us. And I'm talking about the ones coming legally, so keep that in mind. They're right down the dirt with everybody else. So I don't think that's a really big issue in the black community that you think. I think that's more of a talking point. And I'll be honest with you, I'm a conservative, but I'm no Trump super fan. But I like the ideas he has here. So I take that off. Now, the next one is advanced home ownership opportunities and enhanced financial literacy in the black community. Now, I understand the home ownership deal, but people are going to be people in the black community will be skeptical of what happened all the way back in 2008. I lived through it. There was a reason why I didn't buy a house back then, because I saw what was going to happen. Now, when people looking at a house, a home, they're going to see that huge lawsuit that happened with Wells Fargo and that big settlement they had back then. For a lot of black people in the black community, home ownership is something to strive for. They understand that. But they were to save their monies and pay cash for some rat house. But I get what you're saying. Home ownership, I mean, that's part of the American dream. It really, really is. But until I see how you're going to go about that, I'm going to reserve judgment. Now, the second part actually needs to be taught in the black community, and that is financial literacy. Now, let's say, for instance, I'll give you a perfect example. Like, I'm gonna use my credit card, for instance. You know, I'm not showing it to you, but here's the thing: if I got $200, and I know I'm gonna spend it on something. Do I? And this is assumed all the bills are paid, and the food's bought. Let's assume that for this particular exercise. Are you going to A, blow it on something, i.e., a pair of shoes, phones, watches, clothes, you name it? Or B, are you going to invest it? Now, when my channel gets bigger, what I want to do is I want to get a financial advisor on that's really that works with the black community on this. Because this is something that really, really, really needs to be talked about is financial literacy and financial independence in the black community. This is something that lacks in this community, and it has been for a long, long time. And let me tell you something right now. Becoming an athlete or an actor is not the way to do it. I promise you. Now, the final one is like the other one, immigration, onshore manufacturing to advance jobs and develop opportunities for the black-owned businesses. This also remains to be seen. So it's always something to where, okay, do black community need jobs? Absolutely. Nobody questions that, but how are you going to do it? That's why I said it remains to be seen, because nobody knows. I wish I did know. And when we do know, hey, we're going to find out. Well, folks, I'm going to get off here. There's more rambling here today, but I wanted to get on here and talk to you about this. You know, it dropped last week. But thank you for watching. Always like, share, subscribe, all those good things. Once again, this is Lance Bell, Mind of a Black Moderate Conservative.